Broadcasting live from the Business RadioX studios in Phoenix, Arizona, it's time for Phoenix Business Radio, spotlighting the city's best businesses and the people who lead them.
Hello and welcome to Phoenix Business Radio, broadcasting live from the Max 6 Entrepreneurial Workspace. We used to say Conscious Workspace. Now we've changed it to Entrepreneurial Workspace, where we help build businesses and connect you with the right people. And I'm very excited today to be launching one of our new shows called Deep Impact Leadership, The Art of the Connected Conversation. And I could not pick two better business owners to do it with me, or business professionals to do it with me. We have with us today Theresa Sage. She's the founder of Wishes Come True, and Helena Donohoe. Donohoe. I'll get it right. I'll get it right at some point. Donohoe. Account manager on the residential, commercial, and investor side of things with American Title Services Agency. Welcome, ladies. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Thank you. We're excited to be here.
I'm excited. So Helena and I go way back, even though we didn't know it. Daryl was asking me, isn't that funny? That often happens in here. We've been on social media together for several years.
When you came out with the lemonade stand, when you had your story in the book. Okay. That's when I originally connected with you.
Okay, so that's been just 2 years, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So Michelle Faust. Yep. I was thinking we were connected longer than that, but we are. We came to
find out. In a weird way, yes.
In a strange way, but lots of different ways, right? So from my prior marriage, as well as my neighbor and my mortgage lender, just so many fun things. We're definitely soul sisters. And when I invited Helena to be on to talk a little bit about how she shows up professionally, what she does on behalf of their clients over at American Title Service Agency, I said, who would you like to bring to share in the spotlight? And Theresa, you were the first person that she thought of. And I can't wait to hear about all the great things that you're doing, not only in real estate, but also how you're showing up for women in support and helping them really shine. Can't wait to hear, because I do similar things and love people who show up in a big way. So I would love for each of you to just share who you are, and then what are you doing to serve people in this world, right? This is a conversation around leadership and having a deep impact, and we wouldn't have you on today's show if we didn't know that about you. So are you comfortable starting first for us, Theresa?
Sure. Yes. My name is Theresa Sage, and I have been a real estate investor. That's where I first met Helena. Since a long time, 2002, 2003.
It's been about, 2002.
Yeah, so saw a lot of different changes in the market, a lot of ups, downs all around, and many. And I came to the realization at one point in my life, it was about 2017, and kind of hit the midlife crisis, awakening, whatever you want to call it. My father called me up and told me he had stage 4 lung cancer, and he wasn't sure if he was going to live another 3 months. And so that kind of really rocked my world, really flipped everything upside down, made me look at everything I was evaluating my life. I kind of felt like this empty shell going day by day, the check marks, going through life, and had 2 beautiful kids and married, and everything was going well, but it just really felt empty. And so at that time, I just took a step back and went through this real soul searching into spirituality and healing and energy work. And I came out of it the other side, hopefully whole.
Yep.
I got to this point where I was like, okay, well, how do you combine this world? It's like 2 different worlds, right? There's the spirituality side, and you're doing yoga and you're meditating, you're feeling good. And then you go into the corporate setting and you're doing work and you're doing real estate and you're doing deals and closing, right? I was like, how do I combine them?
I just can't wait to hear, because that's why I opened Phoenix Business RadioX, for almost the exact same reason.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Oh my gosh.
So how did you find the way to combine them?
I started to play. So I've been playing since quite a few years now, And first it was for my own sanity and just finding that inner power and strength. And then I started to see, like, well, how can I do this in deals? And how can I energize people? And how can I, bring light and love to a real estate deal? Like, it sounds so kind of different, right? And then when I met Helena, also soul sister,
very much so,
we started talking on an energy level, and I was like, oh, this is beautiful. Like, she is
absolutely
beautiful heart, impactful, wonderful.
Thank you.
And I was like, this is what I want to create. I want to create a space for women, business owners, entrepreneurs. We've been really focusing around the real estate investor, but how can they have that kind of empower themselves, empower their business, really embody that energy work and that essence to bring it into their work.
And that's what I was sharing with you when I came in, that it's every Monday we have our group, and I feel lost if I'm not there. And it's important. It's important to be there, and just what you provide to our group, which is continually growing, which is wonderful. But thank you for doing that, because you have created a space for all of us to be able to find what's necessary to help and to make our days better and learn how to focus.
So we're really not separate beings at the end of the day, right? I think when we were all growing up, Dad was typically the breadwinner, and Mom stayed home. I mean, that's the typical story. Not everybody had that story. And men and women, for that matter, had this, let me put on this facade that this is how life is supposed to look and feel and how we're supposed to behave and act. And then a lot of folks were dying inside, or they were doing, kind of, you even spoke to it. I was checking all the boxes, and I was doing well financially, and I had my career, and I loved my kids, and things were going well, like my circle of friends, but there was something missing. I knew there was something more, right? And we have this kind of conversation a lot with a lot of folks around the Metro Phoenix area who are leading large and small and medium corporations, which is, to my point earlier, that's why I opened the studio, because as a coach, a life and personal development and business coach, I kept seeing that people were aching for and longing for this opportunity to be soulfully themselves in everything that they do and not hide that part of themselves. And so similarly, mine ended up being obviously through this platform and then the coaching work that I do. But I love hearing that, because I think we also can say that COVID has helped more and more people have that wake up moment, like yours was with your father, sharing that news with you and saying, oh my gosh, what is this all about? What now? Right. But I also feel like COVID has given people the opportunity to pause and to reevaluate and make some decisions because of all just the newness of it and the uncertainty that it's created for us. So Helena mentioned the circle. I want to get back to that in a moment, but I would love for Helena to introduce herself as well.
Hi.
And hello, and tell us about you and your profession and all the wonderful things.
Well, my name is Helena Donohoe, and I work with and represent American Title Service Agency. I'm an account manager and have been, I'm going to my 9th year with the company. And it's been one of the best experiences I've ever had. I've spent years in the industry, and out of companies that I've worked for, and I've worked for a large corporation, this has been the best place to grow and be supported. And I think that's the biggest thing, working for a company that if you have something that you need, they're there to support you. Mm-hmm. If you have ideas that you want to bring forth, if you have different events that you want to do and different areas to participate in, they support you. And that's a big thing for me. You have to have a family of company. And they're small, they're local. We're locally owned and operated. And we provide title and escrow services. So if you are coming you have a real estate transaction. So Theresa, as a realtor, has a buyer that wants to purchase a home. She comes to us, opens the escrow transaction, and we take care of the closing process. So we're the third part. We're the middleman. We're the third party. I used to say we were Switzerland. But so we take instruction from everyone. Mm-hmm. But we make sure that we're that person in the middle who facilitates the closing. So Theresa tells us what to do. Her parties tell us what to do. And we follow written instruction from everyone.
Yeah.
So.
And we do. You're who we sign with at the end of the transaction when it's all ready to record.
When you walk in, we're the person that you sit in front of and say, okay, where do I sign? Right. And what is this document?
Right.
And why is it 27 pages long?
Right.
And what is this? And how does that work? But that's what we're there for, is we can explain to you what's in front and show you, guide you through the process.
Yeah. Where does insurance come in?
Title insurance covers you in the event of how's the best way to explain that? I was trying to think about this earlier, the best way to explain it. So title insurance, you have an owner's policy and a lender's policy.
Mhm.
It protects you from any liens or encumbrances that could be on there from transfer.
Mhm.
So if I buy the property from Karen, I buy a property from you, and I want to make sure that everything is clear on the title, that there's no liens, there's no encroachments, there's no strange things that are going on in the back of the property that I don't know about, and I want to make sure everything's good. So when that's transferred, you provide an owner's policy. Well, in Arizona, it's the seller that provides an owner's policy. So with that owner's policy, you as the seller are saying, okay, everything's good. I bought you this policy. It's good. You can transfer it. Now you're good to go.
Mhm.
And it protects myself and my heirs for as long as we own the property.
Mhm. Yeah. Important, obviously.
Extremely important. Yeah,
Yeah.
always have title insurance.
Yeah.
And then we look up things. So Theresa, as on the investor side, was looking for a property. We go research and make sure, if she wants to go purchase a property, for instance, we can go and look and see if there are any liens or encumbrances before you go to see the property that may affect what your purchase is going to be.
Mhm.
So we're just able to do a lot of research on that side too. And there's way more.
So much more.
I got to tell you, Helena has been, we've been investing for a long time, and we've run into other, companies out there. But we've really had a great relationship, because I just know, like, the people who work there, they are solid. They know what they're doing. We've put together deals. I'm like, I don't know how to do this. Help me out. And Eileen Brown over there is amazing. And wow. Like, I just know, I'm just like,
Thank you.
What a team to be behind you. And especially in the real estate investing space, or just in the real estate space, you just go to them and you're like,
Here
you
you
go.
Taken care of. Yeah.
I'm taken care of. Yes.
And it's so
Yes.
important, because it is, you want to make sure that you have a trusted team. And we're grateful. Thank you. Because Eileen loves you. Gayla loves you. I love you. We all, and that's important. And if you're looking for things, that's where you come to. I'm the person that helps with property research and finding what you need. And that's my job, is to, and I found out from knowing Theresa and with you, Karen, that's my kind of what do I call it? I can't think of what the word was that I used for it.
Your gift?
My gift, or my superpower. That's it. My
Uh-huh.
superpower is to help connect people.
Yes.
Because there's always someone that you can say, oh, well, you need help with this. This is the conversation I had with Joe this morning.
Yeah.
And he's like, wait.
I know, Karen. I wanted to give a shout out to Joe and to Alicia Horn with True Mortgage, right?
Yes.
And Joe Scarpinato, and real estate or
Phoenician Properties.
So shout out to both of our friends there. I had forgotten until you mentioned you were talking to Joe on the way in that we knew each other that way as well. So Alicia is my mortgage lender and has been my across the street neighbor until I just recently moved for, oh my gosh, I want to say 15 years. And she's been a guest on a show with us not too long ago, well, maybe 2 years. So we need to get Alicia back on. But she is my 14-year-old second parent, basically. She's been so good to him. And she has 2 young boys that he just adores. So those are his little brothers. But how funny is that? Because Helena's on her way here and talking to him, and I'm going to be on the radio show. This thing is like, I know Karen. So
how do you know Karen?
Yeah, isn't that funny?
It is
Small
funny.
world. And then we would also be remiss if we didn't give a shout out to Carrie Ann Mudstead as well, because that's
my goodness,
you and
yes.
Was that the first time you and I met in person? I feel like
that was the first time we met in person
that we're aware of. I know we might have been at a funeral service together, possibly prior to that years ago, Jane's. But
I think maybe, well, potentially, I think we were at Jane's.
Yeah, but Carrie Ann Mudstead, shout out to Carrie Ann and the beautiful work she does with Carrie Ann Mudstead Photography. We were both participants in the 40 over 40 Fierce and Fabulous photo exhibit. And
it was fabulous.
Oh my gosh, it was so much fun. In fact, Linda Bishop, I don't know if you had a chance to meet Linda. She was another participant. She was on with us yesterday and brought a pal with her, and it was great to connect with her too. So if you need professional headshots or you just want to see yourself in gorgeous photos, Carrie Ann is your gal.
And she truly does capture who you are.
And that's a great segue, right? Back to what we're talking about with Theresa when we're talking about soul, because Carrie Ann really, and she does women's retreats as well and really helps towards women empowerment, just feeling empowered, letting your soul and your light shine. And her gift is through photography. And then, of course, being very vulnerable and authentic about what's keeping you from feeling beautiful, right? And how do you let that shine? Which is why she did, of course, the 40 over 40, because who says we can't be beautiful beyond 40 years old? So
agreed. And I never thought I would see myself on a magazine. In a magazine,
your photos are gorgeous.
Your photos are gorgeous.
No, yours are. No. Really, we all. In fact, Linda said the same thing, that the first time she had been photographed by Carrie Ann, Linda does a lot of the NABO, National Women's Owners Business Owners Association. She runs their $1 Million Circle nationwide. And Carrie Ann did her photos. And when they were at a meeting, she said, I have the photos. Would you like to see them? And Linda said, oh my gosh, that's not me. Like, she was shocked that the essence of who she knew herself to be was shining through those photographs. And Carrie Ann's like, that's just my gift. And that's you. Indeed. She's like, that's just who I see. So I would love to circle back. We all three of us have been on, of course, our own professional and personal journeys. And I really love hearing that there's this beautiful intersection between who I have shown up in the world professionally, who I know myself to be in those dark and light moments, and that I can be all of that. Can you talk a little bit about the circle that Helena alluded to, and who do you serve, and how did that come to be? I know you said that obviously you're working on yourself, but then you're like, I need to share this. Yeah.
It's called Wishes Come True, and it's a ladies group. And what we've created is, and I say we because I feel like everybody in the group is such a huge contribution. I wanted to create a space where we would do planning, wish your wish to come true, because I feel like sometimes in life, especially as ladies, is we stop dreaming, And I was like, her life's so short. I really want a space where, you know what? It's okay to dream again. It's okay to have your wishes come true. You are important. Like, you put yourself, I don't know about some other people, but they put themselves last, at the end of the list.
What?
I know, she was looking at you. I don't know what that was about, but I'm going to read into that.
But I wanted an opportunity to get together every Monday morning and say, no, this is for you.
Beautiful.
This hour. It's a power pack hour. It's the soul packed hour. And we talk about what you want to create for the week. We talk about how we're going to energize that. We actually do some clearing around any emotional, any mental, any habits that are keeping you stuck. We supercharge it.
It's amazing.
And at the end of that hour, we also download some extra energy, and support each other. And at the end of that hour, you walk away, you have a mini plan for the week, you have been energized, you have that self-time, energy time, healing time.
Accountability,
sisterhood, collaboration.
And it's a necessary, like I said, if I'm not there, and I haven't been there just recently, I feel it complete. I mean, I called on the phone Monday to say, I can't get there today. There's just no way I want to be there, but that's also the commitment for the first of the year, is to know that we have a space that we can go and be there and commit to that space. And the more people that come in, it's the right people that are coming in. Where do you gather?
Do you have a specific place that you gather each time, or are you trying to find a spot for that?
Oh, we do Zoom.
Oh, it's on via Zoom right now. Sure.
It's Zoom just because it's Monday morning.
Yeah.
And it's busy.
Were you doing Zoom even prior to, was this a thing prior to COVID?
Yeah. It was.
It's so convenient that way, isn't it? Yeah.
And we have someone who's in England that's part of our group. Yeah, she's in England.
So that's beautiful. So her time zone is completely different, but yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
So you've been on this journey not only to heal and come to know yourself better, but you are also now sharing that with other people. Can you speak a little bit about energy work for our listeners who aren't familiar? How would you describe energy work? Because clearly that's part of what you bring into this group and have helped others embrace. What is energy work to you? And then take us to, why is energy work important when it comes to business? Because that's really what you're doing with these women.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. So energy work to me, if you think about it at a fundamental level, right? Everything's energy, of course. And so fundamentally, energy work can be stored emotions that have been wounds. It can be happiness. It can be joy. It can be a whole myriad of different energies and feelings, and even mindset, and in setting that intention, right? The quantum physics. Mm-hmm. And so putting that all together, what I guess what my superpower is.
What is your superpower?
I'm empathic. And so I didn't know this as a child. I would go to preschool and be amongst all these kids and go home and like hide in the closet
corner.
for an hour, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And so with this group and with energy work, my gift is to go in and see where you're hurting or facilitate you healing yourself.
Beautiful.
Which is the main thing, right?
Yeah.
That's my whole goal, is for them to come into a space where here's the tools, let's practice, let's become a practice. It's like working out. We're
Yeah.
cleaning out all your energy junk for the last week, cleaning house, bringing
and
in the good
teaching them
stuff.
how to do it for themselves. I love hearing
Yes.
that. So often, I think in our mental health and wellness industry, sometimes we've been led to believe that we need a guru or a guide forever. And I really do believe I need a coach and a guide and a mentor guru in different facets of my life for different reasons, right? So I will always want to learn with and from someone. But in my own practice, similarly, I'm always like, listen, these are tools and techniques and strategies that you can do on your own. You might not until you build that muscle and it becomes a practice. So I'm here to partner with you until I want you to move on from me. At some point, I want you to grow out of me, right? But not everybody is willing to do that. So I love hearing you describe it that way, that this is a community that you've built and you share, and it's collective. It's not just you, it's everybody, learning from each other. But also that these are things that these women can do at home as well, and they can share as well.
Totally.
Yeah.
And I don't want it to look at it like total healing, and it is healing. But what I wanted to is to create a space. Let's come and play.
I heard you say
Let's
that from the
come
very
and
beginning.
play.
Yeah.
Let's come and create our lives. Let's be here to
And that's
support
what it
each
is.
other.
Why is that important? Why is that distinction important between playing and maybe the heavier healing? Is there something that happens for us energetically for you when you say it's playing?
It's playing.
Yeah.
It's playing. At the end of the day, like I'm facilitating you healing yourself and I'm giving you the tools. But at the end of the day, I still want to see you on Monday morning. I still want to share in your life. I want to play. I want to grow together and share and support each other. And I want to be there. And that's the whole thing. We share our wins. And I always say to people, you kind of need to come into this space to celebrate other people too.
Yes.
Like, I am here to celebrate you. I'm here to celebrate Helena. Like, I want us all to play in the sandbox together.
I love it.
And that's what's a beautiful thing about it, is it provides that space, and it's always positive. There's, and if you have something that's happened during the week and you want to talk about it, it's like, okay, here's how I do this, and how do I, with the collective, have the tools, or what can you help me? What tools can you help me to use and to utilize that will help me get through what I need to?
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful space. And it's a good place to be, because it does set the tone for your week. And it puts you in a place where you're positive. Shireen always lets us know, if you have a negative thought that pops in, say, wait, cancel that. I don't have a negative thought. Cancel that. Put a positive spin on it, because we all know that, your thoughts become reality at some point, and you want to make sure that you're keeping the positive thoughts out there.
Yeah. How long have you been a part of the group? It's been a while.
Oh gosh.
I began in April, actually.
So it's fairly new.
It's really new. Yes.
Oh my gosh. That's important for me to know, because I was going to ask you, Helena, what have you noticed? Maybe both of you can answer this, but what have you noticed since you've been interacting in your own journey, now that you have this group? Like, what have you noticed that's shifted for you?
Connection. The connectedness between those in the group, but also paying more attention to what's going on in your life and how it affects your surroundings, and how it affects the other people that are around you as well. But if you come out with the positive attitude and are energetically aligned through Theresa's amazing help, you set the tone for your week. You set the tone for the people around you. You draw the people into your life. That you're a perfect example. Karen, thank you. But you draw the people into your life that either you need them or they need you. And it's just a good place to be. I don't know how to explain it. When you did your first energy group, we had a meeting that day. So we had a really large investor group. Like, there were a couple hundred people that were there. And your husband was actually speaking. Eric was there. And before the group, I sat in the parking lot and did the energy healing in my car on my phone for an hour and 15 minutes. And when I went inside, it was like, I just feel good about this. My energy's good. This is a good space. I'm not afraid to get up in front of people. This will be wonderful. And when someone asked, how, you're in a really good mood, how's everything going? I'm like, I went to Theresa's energy healing. 4 people in the room said, oh, that was this morning, but we had the meeting today. And I said, I was in the parking lot. I was in my car.
They're like, oh.
But that helps you to prepare because,
Yes.
being in front of people all day long with, being an account manager, we're always, we're trying to, make sure everything's taken care of for everyone, and we're always taking care of somebody else.
Yeah.
So that's the time for us to take care of here and take care of us. I know you can't see me doing that, but it takes care of us.
Yeah, I would love for Theresa to speak to what you mentioned too around from an energy perspective. Once you start getting clear about your energy and how to create more healthy, positive energy, you really do get to ask the universe and say to the universe, this is what I'm ready for, which was what you alluded to is how I think we got connected. So is that how you kind of would explain that when we're aware of our own energy, we can create more beautiful things and relationships in our life?
Yes. And it's definitely, of course, receiving is a big part of the ladies to be okay with receiving, to be okay with allowing, to be okay with having a wish and having it come true. And it's okay to be able to ask for what you want.
Right? It's more than okay. It's our birthright.
It's our birthright. Yes.
So 2 years ago, I went through a tragedy with my husband, and our community, our friends, family, my business community was so loving and so giving. My business stayed open while I was on personal leave. I was not aware of some financial situations. People took care of that for us. I mean, I received so much for what I felt like so long. I got to the point after about 9 months thinking that I had already filled my limit with what God had, or, the universe had intended for me. And so I started then kind of shrinking a little bit, thinking, oh, surely I've had my fill. Like I'm no longer deserving because I've more than asked for what I deserve of. And I've had very close friends, of course, and my guides say, oh my goodness, right?
So much
Stay
more.
open. There's so much more.
Open to abundance.
We're
open to it.
Right. There's plenty of opportunity out there.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. And one of the girls in our class group, we always kind of giggle about manifesting, right? It's kind of like, whoa, what can you create today? And I'll share a little story because she's like, well, I kind of wanted a new car. And I was sitting at dinner with my husband, and his business partner said to me, any car you want, I will buy it for you. What? And she said, yeah. Any car. And he said, yes. You want the deluxe version of the Maserati white supercharged white car. And I said, you manifested that, didn't you? And she said, I did.
Of course I did.
Of course I did. Of course her husband said, maybe not. But I thought,
great, though.
This is, I want to play.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yep.
Let's play.
I do believe that we have opportunities planted on our heart over and over and over again. And I'll always say to clients, like, listen, if this idea continues to show up for you in the background or really, loud with, blaring lights and a neon sign, it's something that you've, especially when it's been more than a year, you really ought to start spending some time looking to see, how can I manifest this? How can I put some energy and pay attention and create whatever I'm being called to do? So I love that your community does that. Is it open? Are you looking for more members to participate? And how would people find out about it?
Yeah, it's if they go to wishescometrue.com, there's a very good explanation. And I feel that if it resonates with them, great. We can get on a call and see if that's a good fit.
Good.
And join the group. And like I said, it's Mondays and they fill up their cup. And I love when you said this is all about impact, because at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
Well, and we have another group that we're a part of that is the
Ladies
The
Impact.
Ladies of Impact. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes.
So we have a mastermind group that we're a part of, and that's which you came into that. It's all just been this
Serendipitous, yeah.
extremely. It's been a really
So tell us about the what did you call it? Impact.
The Ladies Impact Group. Yeah.
Yeah,
Helena,
that's
do
a
you wanna speak
mastermind
little bit
group.
more
Yeah.
on that?
it was something that we came up with just talking. There were 3 of us that had a conversation, Marie Baginski and Liz Quinn, and we were like, what can we do? What kind of group can we have? How do we do this so that we have a way to make a difference in the community and a way to bring our entrepreneurial skills and a way to bring our business skills, and what do we do and how can we do this?
Yeah.
And it started out, I think, with about Marie spearheaded it. It started out with about 6 people. Now we're up to, I think, 12.
Wow.
And we're doing a retreat in 2 weeks, so that's going to be really nice.
So
But
good.
It's a place where we know that we have women. Rochelle. Sorry, I'm having a hard time speaking today. But Rochelle actually spent 14 years in Afghanistan in Kabul. So when everything was imploding, she started a group to help people who were transitioning from Afghanistan to here and helping to get people back to this country. So we have people who are working on housing for, transient housing for, things to help people who are coming from other countries, and just basically trying to help the community as a whole. And we have one of the women who's a part of our group who owns she's the first woman owner of a Phoenix Hispanic radio station here in the Valley.
Oh, very good.
So we've just got it's a phenomenal group,
Yeah.
and it's bringing different ideas and trying to make an impact. And that's the whole point.
Giving back. Yeah.
Giving back to the community.
Lifting up, giving back.
Mhm.
Incredible.
So it's not a once a month, but it's a good space.
But there's some overlap there, which is really neat.
It's really well. And you came in and one of the women has to vet everybody before they come in.
Sure.
So, do we want her? Maybe.
But you passed.
Do we like her? We do. Okay.
Good. There's nothing wrong with that, right? It's a circle, and it's a place for people to feel safe. So of course you've got to make sure that people share and are like minded. You mentioned the same thing, of course, with which has come true. If it resonates with you with what you say here, then let's get on a call and let's make sure it's we're mutually feeling it. I think that's critically important. It's the same thing I do with clients and guests, right? I have to vet them. Yep. Yeah.
And that's important. And we do that with, in business. We're trying to, with what I do with the title and escrow world, I'm trying to help real estate professionals. I'm trying to help investors and in the commercial space. But it's about providing something of value. But if I can't provide something that the person needs, so it's not about what I want to give you, because I can give you pens and calendars and books and whatever you need, so to speak. But it's all about finding out what that person needs. What can I do for you that will help you? Which is what Wishes is doing as well as the Ladies of Impact.
Yeah.
What can I do to help you? It's not about what can I do to help you?
And part of that is listening. And you had mentioned how much you like the word impact, right? Deep Impact Leadership is the name of this series and this show. And the tagline basically is the art of the connected conversation. And that's what you're alluding to. I at least what I hear, we have to be really good listeners to be able to find our way to connection. Because if I'm always listening from the lens of what can I get, right? Or I want people to hear me, or just all of that, I've got to be willing to receive and also put myself kind of on the side to say, I'm going to stay open to what the opportunity is here. Who was I talking to? There was a group that came through earlier today, and I haven't seen one of the guys in a long time. He was showing people the space, and one of the gentlemen was quite chatty over the other 3. And I had never met this man before. And at first I kind of started thinking, okay, at what point do I interject? And should I look at my watch like the other guys were doing? And I thought, nope, I'm just going to stand in space and hold space for wherever he needs to go. And it was really freeing for me, right? Just to let him have an opportunity to explore what he wanted to share. And afterwards, he's like, I want to come back and I want to learn more about what you're doing. And I said, I'd love that. So it was just neat. But remembering that we can just land in the moment, and the art of the connected conversation is, I believe, oftentimes just putting yourself, in a back seat and seeing where the conversation goes. Yeah. When you two were little, young girls, did you have a dream and a desire that you still look forward to fulfilling in your life that has a wish maybe that has yet to be fulfilled that you'd be willing to speak to?
Ooh, that's a good question.
That is a good question.
Yes. I just remember one time, because I was from northern Canada, or like Alaska weather. So it was dark and
She's
cold.
from the tundra. Yes.
And I remember my uncle lived in Scottsdale and he heated the pool and we had a family reunion at Christmas.
Like, I'm going to land here someday,
And
right?
we were all sitting in the pool and there were palm trees. And I'm like, this is Christmas. This is the greatest thing since sliced bread. And so fortunately, I live here now. So
And you've been
that's
here how
awesome.
long, Theresa?
oh my goodness, since I was 19.
Oh, a long time,
So,
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
1920-ish. So
a long time.
Oh gosh, we moved here when I was 5
To Arizona.
to Arizona. So 1968, we moved here.
Yeah.
And that was, my uncle lived here. So when we were in Toronto, Canada, and my dad and my mom and my grandmother came out here because my grandfather had recently passed away. And they came out to talk to my uncle. And he had a little automotive shop that was on the corner. You know where the teepee is in
Mhm,
Phoenix?
yes.
So right across the street, the little side street there, he had the corner. He owned the whole corner.
Oh my gosh.
So he had a little shop in the house next door. And I remember coming out here with my parents. And I was little, but it was the same thing. It's like, wow, it's sunshine. And this is really pretty here. And then all of a sudden we're moving. And growing up here, I think, has probably been one of the best experiences. I don't think, I love cold weather, but I don't know how I would have done I don't know.
Yeah.
It would have been a very different life. But my dream was always to be an attorney.
Really?
Strange. I wanted
Yeah.
to do corporate law. I thought that would be really cool. I don't know why, but that's one of those strange little things that,
Yeah.
and so I guess I could still do that. I'm still at an age where I could go back to school. I'd be a very old attorney, but it would be okay.
Yeah. 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 I was thinking recently about my own dreams and wishes as a young girl, and I wanted to be on stage. I wanted to be a dancer, singer. Like every time I got to go see a play or listen to music or going to Disneyland and watching the street performers, I was so mesmerized by that. I always wanted to be in front performing in some way, right? And I never really pursued it. I'd never pursued acting and I danced through high school and college, but I never really pursued it as a career. And here we are, in a way, in front and sharing and talking and not performing necessarily, but I suppose I have to have my ducks in a row. But I in a roundabout way, I'm doing what I always kind of wanted to do. I'm getting to be with people and perform in a way that makes people feel good. And it's not dancing and singing, but it's conversations like this today that really, I think,
Awesome.
inspire and help some people know that there's a tribe out there for them somewhere. Would you say that that's true? That if there's somebody's listening and they may not feel connected, and I think this is speaking a lot to women, especially successful women, who I personally am around a lot of women and I see, gosh, they're so successful. And then they'll look at me and they'll privately say to me, you really have such a great circle of friends. I don't really have a lot of friends. And I don't know that that's the case for people. I think sometimes they look at somebody else and they think, oh, she's got it all together or she's got it all together. Well, we're all really kind of the same. But my question is, would you say that there is a circle and there's a tribe out there for everybody?
I
Yes.
would. Yes.
I would agree.
Yes. And I think the first, which you beautifully said, is once you start thinking about, I want to call in the most amazing friends,
Mm-hmm.
like Helena. I want to call in
Both of you.
like Karen. I get to meet a super
know.
special soul here.
So excited to get to know you. And yes, start putting that out there, right? And just, I have a couple of friends who said, I would like to spend more time with you. And I feel silly asking, embarrassed because I know you're so busy. And I'm like, I would love that. And then I just create some ground rules. Like I have a wide circle of friends and I'm very coveted about my own time. I have learned over the last couple of years, I have to have time. So as long as you don't have an expectation of me that I'm going to, we're going to be on the phone every day or all that, I'm there for you. And if I'm not the right person, then I know that there's somebody out there for you. So I love hearing that because I think it's important for us to establish our boundaries, our ground rules, and stay open.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
Yes.
So how long have you been in real estate investment? It sounds like it's been career?
Since 2003.
Okay.
Yeah, 2003.
You did mention that. Yeah.
Yes. So prior to that, I was a financial advisor. And then prior to that, I was in the medical field. I was a angio and CT tech at the hospital.
Wow.
That's a shift.
I did not
Yes.
know that.
How did you
Yeah.
make that shift? What was the catalyst for that decision?
It's kind of a sad story.
Oh, no.
And you can say pass. I'll pass.
No, it's okay.
Cancel that. Right?
No, I was young. I was in my 20s. And I feel like, part of my soul work is to heal, be in that realm of healing. And that's why I initially chose that field. But at that point, 3 people passed away in the CT room in front of me.
Oh my
And
goodness.
that was
goodness.
not usual. Like, that is not normal.
That's traumatic.
It was very traumatic.
I couldn't even imagine that.
And so I was like, right now where I'm at, I'm young. I appreciate this field. I appreciate everybody in the healthcare. They work so hard for us, and grateful for that experience. And spent a decade doing that. But I was like, I think I want to experience a little bit different view on life.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
you can make that decision. I was an educator for years. I taught 3rd grade for Kyrene School District and went on to be an assistant
very
principal
cool.
for a long time when Dale and I were together. That's what I did career-wise.
Thank you for doing that.
Oh, well, and to your point about our medical industry, teaching, of course, and our medical professionals are so important, right? Right up there with good parenting. When I became an assistant principal, I loved the role. I missed the classroom, but I was introduced to Intel through a couple of internships through my role at the school and within the school district. And that's when I got bit by the business bug and the entrepreneurial bug. And so I just was called to do something different. But I had always, aside from wanting to be a dancer or a singer, that I never pursued, I always thought I was going to be a teacher, an educator. And I'm still, again, doing it in a very different way with my clients and my folks here. But I felt a little ashamed leaving education because it is such an important thing. And I was really good at it for many, many years. But I was just called to do something different. So I, like you, I'm grateful for our great teachers and our great administrators who continue to help educate and really protect our kiddos, much like our health professionals.
And you are doing an amazing job because you are teaching all of us.
Yeah, it's a different kind of teaching, but I love what I'm doing. I just recently became a trauma guide. It's actually been almost 2 years. And so a lot of my private practice is helping people heal the trauma. So getting the shock out of their body. When we talk about energy work, I have a meditative practice that helps them go inside. And Helena's looking at Theresa like, it sounds so right. But teaching people how to feel their body. I'm really surprised how many men and women, and I work with children as well, when they close their eyes and they're in that meditative space, and I'll say, okay, what body sensations, what physical sensations are you experiencing? And they'll say, I don't feel anything. Like I don't live in my body. And so my job is to help them get back into their body because they're living out here, right? You're nodding your head. Yes, you can relate.
Yes, totally.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, 100%.
So there's room for women in Wishes Come True.
Yes.
So just go to the website, wishescometrue.com, and see if it resonates with you. And there's a kind of a contact form there.
There is.
Very
Yes.
good.
Yes.
And then how about your mastermind group? Is that I know you have to be vetted as well, but
No, that's not my word. That's not. People can still reach out. We don't have a website,
Sure.
but you can always reach out to me and through American Title Service Agency.
And it's an opportunity to give back, right? To serve.
Yes.
Yeah. And just be part of a collective that really cares about the community.
And to, much like with Wishes Come True, to share and to be open about what you want to do. And I guess that's a good way to explain it. And it's a good space to be in, and everyone's open to each other's ideas.
I love it.
So it's just a collective.
I feel like I'm hearing somebody who's listening, and I might be making this up, but I am also intuitive. And I'm thinking that for the woman out there who's listening to us, who may be listening and thinking, I would really like to have a circle of friends like the 3 of you, I would encourage you to reach out to any of us and just speak to that. Like, hey, I want to, how can I get connected and who can I connect with? Because if, again, it's not the 3 of us or some of the organizations that we're talking about, we can help you find your way to living a life of joy and peace and growth with the women that are in your life. Helena, it looks like you might have an idea.
I just was thinking about Theresa, and when we first met, on occasion, I would, get a phone call, and she's like, "How are you?" Like, "I'm doing okay." "No, really, how are you?" It's like, you knew.
Yeah.
I mean, you knew. You called them like, "Well, here's what's going on." Okay. And it goes in reverse, "How are you? What's happening? Do you need anything? Is there anything that I can do for you? What's happening?" And I think that's something that when you are in tune and have an empathic side, it's something that and the intuitive side, you know when there's something's going on. So you want to make sure. But thank you for always doing that. And Karen, you as well, because we connected at the right time.
For sure.
We were, I think, saying things at the same time when we met for breakfast. It was like, oh, yes.
Right. And we must get another breakfast on the
Yes,
calendar again. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Tell our listeners again where they can stay in touch with you, your websites, as well as social media, if you're looking to connect with people there. And then we'll wrap up the segment.
Awesome. Well, I am Helena Donohoe, American Title Service Agency, and we are a full-service title and escrow company. You can reach me at it's www.americantitleserviceagency.com, and we're always available for any questions or any assistance we can provide.
Oh, thank you.
And yes, if you're looking in real estate, definitely look up American Title. They're amazing. Helena's amazing. And my name is Theresa Sage, and you can go to wishes.com, www.wishescometrue.com, and that's where I'm at.
And you're amazing too. So thank you.
Well, thank you.
Any last recommendation? 2 questions. One, is there a book that you've read or that you're reading, or maybe even a podcast or somebody that you listen to and follow that you would like others to know about, either personal development or professional development? And the other question is, who in your life, I know I hear the deep connection here, but who in your life has shown up as a mentor, again, at any point in your life that you'd like to give a shout out to, someone who has been a deep impact leader for you?
Oh, I know the book, and the book I have right next to my nightstand. Actually, I'm just starting it. I think it's The Magic is the next one. Oh, because we have our retreat. But
and reading it for the retreat.
Yep, and I actually bought the whole series, so that way I can go through all 3 books. There's 3 to start with.
Called The Magic.
Yeah. But the other is the 4 Agreements.
Oh, yes.
Don Miguel Ruiz,
Yes.
Second Agreement. Whether people think and feel about you as a product of their reality.
Yes.
It has nothing to do with you.
Powerful book. It's one of those that you could read over and over and over again and still learn something new.
Agreed.
Good. And somebody, a mentor, a guide, someone in your life, at any point in your life that you just think, I am so grateful to have been with, spent time with, or learned from. Who comes to mind?
Gosh, for me, of course, Theresa, and I'm learning from you. So you're my new mentors in life. But I have a friend who's actually in Boise. Her name's Gail Hartnett.
Oh.
And she was part of an organization, the Women's Council of Realtors, that I was a part of for many years. And in 2006, she was their national president. But she taught me about, first, knowing that when I got up in front of a group of people, I was always scared to death. It's like, I can't do this. I'm just not going to, I don't know how I'm going to do it. I'm going to say, I don't know what's going to happen. But she reminded me that the people that you're speaking to, they want to hear what you have to say.
Yes.
They're not looking at you to fail. And even though we have in our mind, everybody wants to see me fall down, there's somebody out there who doesn't want to see what I can do, or, there's someone who's not going to support me. Everyone inherently wants to see another person succeed. So that was a big thing. And I carry that with me everywhere.
Shout out to Gail.
Shout out to Gail. Yeah. Last time I saw her, we met for lunch or dinner at the airport at Chelsea's. Well, she was on her way back from New York. That's the only way we could connect. So
Yeah.
I
made it work.
I went to the airport and we had dinner.
Good. So Magic, the 4 Agreements, and Gail.
Absolutely.
Thank you for sharing that. How about you, Theresa? A book or a podcast or
Magic. Yes.
Also,
I'm
right?
also on my nightstand. I've also
who's the
doing
author? I don't know that book.
Rhonda Byrd.
Oh,
I
Yes,
think.
I
Rhonda
think it
Byrd.
is.
So
Okay.
she was part of the Secret
Oh, sure.
series. And I tell you this, the magic is really spectacular.
Okay.
It is, yes, daily
Good.
practice, really fun. Yes.
Love it.
Yes. It's a lot about gratitude and bringing gratitude into everything.
So good.
Yes.
Okay, I'll have to pick it up. And then a mentor, a guide, or someone special in your life that you really comes to mind right now that you'd love to give a shout out to.
Well, initially when I first started like kind of personal development, Tony Robbins.
Yes, mine too. He was first for me.
I just, there was nobody out there. He really sparked. I was laughing because all my friends, when I was growing up, they just thought I was such a goofball because I was reading business books while they were reading like teen magazines, and I was. I'll never forget this time when I was in my 20s, and I worked at the hospital. We were a gang of like 20-year-olds, like hanging out, having fun, and one of the other guys was driving my truck because we were all going to hike the Grand Canyon, and in my truck is just Tony Robbins tapes, personal development.
Really? For the personal power tapes.
Yes. They were making fun of me.
Oh yeah, I got made fun of too. Yeah. I had mine. Let's see. They had those infomercials on TV, right? And it was so mesmerizing to me. He was great at sales, of course. But I bought I think I just started teaching. Maybe I was one or 2 years teaching. I still hadn't been married yet. Living with my roommate Dave Smithers, who was a dear childhood friend, and I bought this cassette tape, 30 tapes, right? The old cassette tapes, 2 in each box. And I bought it. I'm going to listen to these. And there it sat for 6 months. And my life wasn't feeling any more energized or any more great or whatever. And I thought, well, perhaps you need to open up the boxes and start listening to it, right? Like you actually have to engage. You can't just buy and have your life change. And the moment that I started listening to that first cassette, and the exercises that my life changed. And I've had many mentors and guides. Debbie Ford is somebody who I did 3 years of coaching with and became a mentor for her organization through Shadow Work and the Dark Side of Light Chasers and Spiritual Divorce. And she has many, many best-selling books. But like you, it's the same thing. People are like, why? What is this? Like, why you're so positive anyway and you're so motivated? Why do you need this? I'm like, I am that way because I commit to listening to these things and assessing and being a student of myself. That's why I am the way that I am. So that's so funny that they were giving you a hard time. Yeah. And did you mention a mentor or a guide as well? Do you have somebody? I mean, you mentioned Tony. So Tony Robbins was that person for you.
But right now for ladies, this is a real gem. So there's a gal in the UK. Her name's Vanya Silverton. And she has a book released on Amazon. It's, let me see. I think it's The Sensual Enlightened.
Yeah.
Sensual. Look up Vanya Silverton. I think it's like Sensual Enlightenment.
It's good.
It's for ladies. And wow. Yes. Very, very beautiful. And I love her work. She's really, really lovely.
I'll have to look that up. And then, I was going to say that's something I could get for my daughter. And my daughter works with one of our friends.
Yes.
Michelle Lee.
Yep. That's right. Shout out to Michelle Lee and all the beautiful work that she does as well, because she plays in the same space as well, energy and helping people with big impact. Yeah. Again, it's been great to be with you. Thank you for being our first guest on Deep Impact Leadership, the Art of the Connected Conversation, right here at Phoenix Business Radio, where we broadcast live from Max 6 Entrepreneur Center. Some media leans left, some lean right, and we lean business. Until next time, I'm Karen Nowicki. Thanks for listening.